Seattle Sounders crash and burn in the supposedly colossal matchup with LAFC 3-0. LAFC comes here and continues their winning streak against the Sounders. Steven, what did you see?
Tough day for the Seattle Sounders, who were ultimately outclassed by probably the best side in the Western Conference. Don't you think, Moz?
I do, absolutely. And you know what? Let's hear from Brian Smetzer. And as you said in the post-game conference, that Brian Smetzer really took this upon, their team didn't play well. So here's what Brian Smetzer and a couple of the players had to say in the post-game. Hey Brian, just the difficulty of trying to regain the footing after, down 2-0. Can you just talk about that?
Well, I think we came out in the second half pretty good,
Yeah, the first 20 minutes.
but couldn't score. So some people would say, maybe it's not your night. The goalkeeper came up with some good saves. The referee didn't give us any penalties. Somebody, there's a lot of excuses in there, Maz. There's no excuse. They were better than us tonight. So, down 2 goals, we shouldn't have been down 2 goals. First goal, that was not the referee's fault. Penalty. It's not, whether it's a penalty or not, the play happened way up there in the middle of the field when we were pressing. You had Jackson and Obed can't win a duel in the middle of the field. Yaimar's got to come over. The guy dummies it, similar to what their goal was last year. In transition, they're ahead of us. Guy gets around Christian. Yaimar's got a double team. Ball comes in the front. I mean, that first goal was just shooting ourselves in the foot like we did earlier in the year. That's on us. That's more on me. Because the team just obviously wasn't set up right. We're trying to get fresh legs out there, but, didn't work. So, first goal, second goal, Bogish, it's a wonder strike, but I know Steph Fry wants that back. He didn't need to come there. Jackson's cleanly got the ball. Steph Fry doesn't make many mistakes, okay? We had a couple half chances from top of the box, a volley by JP, a couple other chances from top of the box. Our guys couldn't hit the net from top of the box, but their guy did. Bogish did up tonight. And it was probably a goal of the week candidate. So at 2-0, it's credit to them. We got to do better.
This scoreline for us isn't indicative of where we see ourselves when we look at teams like LAFC, when we face teams like LAFC. And so that's the frustrating part, right? Even this game in particular, we didn't feel like the gap was that big. They were really good in front of goal. They took their chances well. It's kind of been the story of our season in terms of not being able to finish those opportunities or be opportunistic. And as of late, we've kind of been opportunistic. And so, you have these type of games, you learn from them, and then you move on, right? We feel like we were on a good spell, and we were really confident going into this game. And the timing of the goals, I think, really screwed us up, or screwed up the game, deflated us, and then we're chasing.
You look at the start of the season, and we've been talking a lot about how every time something could go wrong, it went wrong, and you guys got punished for every mistake. And this game kind of felt like those games before, where you make some relatively small mistakes and you get punished in the worst way possible. And I guess how do you keep yourself from feeling like, oh, here we go again, this is just like how it used to be?
Yeah, I think we didn't change a whole lot, to be honest, from when we were struggling, right? We obviously have been maybe a little bit more direct, but to be quite honest, I feel like we just felt that sooner or later the luck would kind of come our way. And so nothing changes in this moment, right? We have been, building out into 3. We've been, we have Jordan obviously up top now. Like, nothing's really going to change in terms of what we have been doing, but it's just a result of, a bad performance from our part, right? We weren't clever in front of goal. We weren't sharp defensively, and those games happen. Obviously, we wouldn't like those things to happen, but unfortunately, they did.
But did they take away the middle from you, and did that make it more difficult for you guys to attack them? And then
yeah, I mean, definitely, it was tough to play through the middle, but I felt like they took away the runs in behind. They did a good job of being a little bit lower, and chasing Jordan. We didn't get enough runs from our wide guys, I felt, and then that's when you create more space in the middle when you do those type of runs. So credit to them. They came in with a game plan here. They executed, obviously, and we needed to do a better job of adjusting, and then also trying to make space for us so we can play through the middle.
is there something about being more clinical in the game like this, just in terms as a lesson learned from the start of the whistle?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't sharp, until or we weren't dynamic enough until, I would say, the second half,
right?
Or maybe 5 minutes left in the first half, right? Like, I didn't think we got into the game until 5 minutes left in the first half, maybe the first 10-15 minutes, and then really late in the game, right? It was a game of spells where we had possession of the ball, but we were doing nothing with it, and so that's where we need to be a little bit more dynamic. And a team like LAFC, if we lose the ball in tough spaces, they're running right at you, and they're punishing you.
Okay, so there you heard it. I mean, absolutely taking ownership. The effort just wasn't good enough, and you know what? Yeah, they didn't start out well. They weren't clinical at the start, and Christian Roldan, you heard him talk about that. So, Steven, what positive can you take away from this game?
Well, I suppose I'm happy to hear Schmetzer take it on the chin afterwards and take accountability for the result. He took responsibility for the lineup. He took responsibility for the posture of the team when they came out. They didn't seem prepared. He said that. And I think that at the end of the day, for a lot of the year, Schmetzer has maybe tried to tell people that things look better than what we're seeing. And today we didn't see any of that. Today it was just, that was exactly what you thought it was. It wasn't good enough.
And it'd be interesting to see, you'll never know, but there was a gap. I think there really was a gap in terms of what Brian Smith set out and wanted the team to do. And that is, like he said, he rotated the lineup, had some fresh legs in there, and in terms of how the team executed that. Good coaches are never going to air their laundry outside, but clearly it wasn't good enough. Big disappointment for the team here. So they're done with MLS play for now. They've got 2 League Cup games coming up. What would you expect, and what are you hoping the Sounders will do in those games?
What I'm hoping to see from Leagues Cup is for the Sounders to iron out their best 11, and they need to build some chemistry as well. When you watch today's game back, I think what you see is that not only are LAFC a top side, their players have played together a lot this year. They have that chemistry, and even if Sounders can reach the ceiling that LAFC can get to, it's questionable if they can develop the rapport, the chemistry, and the attacking unit between now and when the real games happen.
All right, 2 quick questions. A positive in League Cup, the Sounders do what?
I think they beat Minnesota and they beat Necaxa and get their first wins in this new version of the tournament.
Okay, a disappointment in the League Cup, the Sounders do what?
Oh, I think probably they don't win the tournament. And if you're a Seattle Sounder, I think maybe that's the only standard that you have.
Okay, he's Steven Egan. I'm Osvita Maria. Thank you for watching Postgame on the Pitch for CascadiaSports.net.